create so many duplicate persons in my family tree? Why are there so many people in my tree that I am not related to? More importantly, how do I prevent this from happening in the future so I don't have to spend time cleaning up my family tree later? Howdy, my name is Devin Noel Lee with Family History Fanatics. I love helping people enjoy the journey of discovering their heritage through building a family tree. Today, let's talk about the messes we make as we add people to our family tree. First, we will discuss how we discover new people we could add to the family tree and whether we should add them. Then we'll discuss how to avoid adding duplicate persons to our family tree. It's a tip few people are using, but you don't want to miss. So let's start with carefully adding new persons to your family tree. Here I have Austin Parker Moss, the father of Charles Patrick Parker, who appears in other videos on this channel. We have a sister named Dilly and a mother named Catherine. The first thing we need to do is to find some records to establish Austin Parker Moss and married Catherine and Charles together and hopefully find some new persons to add to the tree, particularly his siblings. Let's go ahead and use the 1900 census. I like this one because we're going to be able to add additional people. So let's go ahead and click review, and we're not going to use this one. I know Ancestry wants you to, but I'm going to go ahead and go over here. Let's look at the details. Let's review this. Let's make sure this is our relatives. We've got Austin and Mary, and we have Charles, but there's Rose and Jesse and Bertha, Austin, Jane, and then some rumors. So be careful. Don't put those people in your family tree until you find out if they actually are relatives. So one way you can mess up your tree is adding unrelated people to your family tree by not being careful. Thankfully, for the most part, Ancestry will not say add rumors to the next page. So we'll go ahead and click yes. So now we're going to go through and we're going to slowly process the relatives. So we already had Austin in the database. Notice there are a couple of different variations for the name. There's Austin C. Moss and Austin C. Mass. Now, we know that his name is Austin Parker, at least we think we know. So we're going to just ignore this for now. Notice this record provides a potential marriage date. We definitely want to keep that information. Before we add those children to the family tree, I have a warning. You may love adding siblings, cousins, nieces, nephews, and in-laws to your family tree, but before you add folks to your family tree, make sure you actually want them. You may want them in your family tree if they are new relatives that you want to define, particularly parents, siblings, children, and spouses. Or they may be persons that help you resolve your difficult genealogy research questions, including but not limited to DNA matches and their paths to your common ancestor. However, try to stay focused in your family tree. You do not necessarily need to add the parents of your cousin's wife when adding a marriage certificate to your cousin's profile. To keep your family tree like a well-kept garden, only add people to your tree that you will be actively researching. Unless you really like going down rabbit holes, you don't necessarily need to have one tree to rule them all. That's family search. Use Ancestry for your active research projects. If you disagree, let me know in the comment section. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I have clicked all the siblings of Charles Moss, which are the children of Austin and Mary. And yes, some of these children may be from a previous wife or a previous husband, but for now, we're just going to add people to the tree. We can edit relationships later. So we've got Rose, we have Jesse, we have Bertha, and we have Austin. So now it's time to go ahead and click the Save to Your Tree. In this example, notice when I added the people to the family tree, I didn't create the duplicates that I alluded to earlier. I actually added new people and I made the conscious decision to only add the children because they're part of my research project. But now we need to tackle the problem that happens when you're adding duplicate people. Let's go to Charles's father And before we go to the hints, let's look at the family tree that we already have. So we have a wife named Mary Catherine, and then we have the children we just added from the previous record, Rose, Jesse, Bertha, and Austin. And then there is a young lady named Dilly Moss. I received this name from an interview, so we're going to go ahead and start looking for this family in a census record where they're together. And we'll scroll down to the 1920 census. Click on Review. Review all the information, get very familiar. There's also a Walter Lee and Albert. We're going to be adding new individuals. And then we have this entry for Mildred. Wait, Mildred? Uh-oh, that might cause a problem. Let's go ahead and click yes. And I'm going to skip ahead to the part where we're going to talk about Dilly. Now here we have Mildred Moss. And notice that Ancestry is not pulling up a comparison person just like it did for Mary Moss or the Charles in the previous record. So many people, when they're using this view or even the quick view, think, oh, it's a new person. Click check, move her over, and now we will have Mildred and Dilly. However, let's uncheck that. Click on not a new person. And I will actually recommend that you do this rather frequently when you're adding people to your family tree. Click on not a new person and then scroll through the options that show up. Notice there is a Dilly, and there's not any information about Dilly. There's a Rose, 1883, but this child was born in 1900. It could be the same, but chances are it's not. It's not Charles because Charles is male. It's not Jesse. Wait, I don't know if Jesse is male or female. It would be awesome if Ancestry had told you the gender right here, so that can help you make a decision. There's Berthea and then there's Austin. Because I researched that 1900 census and I'm now in the 1920 census, there wasn't anyone born about 1900. The last child was born in 1894. So this Mildred will be a new person. And I do know that in this family, Dilly was the nickname for Mildred. I don't know why, but it was. So now I can select Mildred. And now I can bring over all this new information, clean up the location for Dilly, and we're going to override Dilly with the Mildred. Now, I can go back to the profile and add an alternative fact once I click save. So now we have Mildred, and I didn't add those two extra children just yet. I'll go back and do that later. I'm going to go to Mildred, and then I'm going to add her nickname as an also known as. And down at the bottom, you're going to see that also known as fact. I have Mildred Moss, and I don't create a duplicate person by making the mistake of not checking to see if there is someone already in the family tree. So that's it. Now you know where to find new persons to add to your family tree. You'll take time to consider whether you should add them to your tree or not. And you know how to avoid adding duplicate persons to your family tree with a very simple trick. If you have other suggestions on carefully managing the people in your family tree, let me know in the comments section. Or if you have questions about how to research and manage your family tree on Ancestry, let me know as well. Your comments support the growth of our channel and give me new ideas for future videos. Thanks for watching, and if you like that video, be sure to go ahead and click the like button, the share button, and leave a comment, because all of those things help support our channel. And if you're ready for another video about how to use Ancestry, click on the video right there.